Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, June 26, 2017. I'm Lafern Fraser with the details. Unfortunate, regrettable, and mischievous are the words used to describe the alleged monies pledged by an anonymous caller last week to Nice Radio on behalf of 8 Seventh-day Adventist churches in the country. In a release issued on the matter, President of the SVG Mission of Seventh-day Adventists, Pastor Dermot Batiste, stated categorically that no authorization was ever sought or permission given for such statement, and therefore the church's name must be disassociated from it and any donations which may have been promised during the radiothon. The radiothon was held in order to raise funds to contribute to the over 200,000 EC dollars owed by Nice radio operators from a defamation suit Prime Minister Dr. Alf Gonsalves won against the station a few years ago. Recently, the Court of Appeal upheld the decision of the lower court that ruled in favor of the Prime Minister for the payments to be made. A hearing on the matter today was, however, rescheduled to July 26th this year. Members of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force here are investigating the shooting death of 34-year-old chauffeur of 20 Hill, Vermont, Brian Myers. Myers was employed as a driver with the Housing and Land Development Corporation, or HLDC. He was reportedly gunned down in front of his home between 7 and 7:25 this morning. His distraught family is calling for justice as they described him as a good citizen with an easygoing personality. As we hear in this report by Nolisha Miller, though Myers was known to the police, the investigation is still too early to develop any theory as to why he was killed.
Family of 20 Hill, Vermont are mourning the death of a loved one, and according to them, justice will be vigorously pursued. Brian Myers, a 34-year-old driver employed with the Housing and Land Development Corporation, the HLDC, was gunned down earlier this morning in front of his home. Speaking to his aunt Alvena Myers, she said she raised Myers, who is the father of twins, and that he recently moved in with his girlfriend. But nevertheless, they maintained a close relationship.
He did not deserve to die like that. If he is sick, it makes a difference. But they just watch him and just kill him like that. God not sleep. God answer prayer, and we will find out who did it.
Miss Myers, if you can tell me what exactly, to your understanding, what happened?
To be truthful, I can't even explain. I spoke to him this morning for the last. He called me, he said, Alvena, he done open up his shop. I said, I know Alvena is to go down. When I reached down, I opened the shop. He told me what to buy. Then, about 10 minutes after, my phone rang. When I answered, a girlfriend called, started to cry, say, somebody shot Brian in the yard, light up. Then I started crying, and I locked up the shop, and I came over, and I saw him on the ground lie down, one hand out and one on top of the chest.
The distraught woman said upon receiving the tragic news, she has been pondering as to why and who would have taken her nephew's life.
He usually come out that morning and start up a car, either he or a girlfriend. But he came out to start up the car, and the girlfriend came calling him, and he don't hear him. So when he came out, he saw him on the ground lie down, and she gonna call the neighbor then. So they come up and they call the police, and they came up here.
Miss Myers and sister, did Brian was even involved in any gangs or bad company?
No, he ain't in no gang.
Other relatives and friends say they too are also in shock over Myers' killing and want justice as well.
The news kind of shocking still, you know, because me and Brian are friends for years. And when me heard the news this morning, couldn't believe it.
I come and I look at him and like, I'm just seriously just wondering if he dead for real. It's like unbelievable right now.
Meantime, Assistant Superintendent of Police Hezron Ballantyne said the investigation is in its premature stages to even divulge any theory or lead.
We received information just about sometime after 7 a.m. and the police responded. On arrival, the body of Brian Myers was met lying motionless in the vicinity of his car, which was in his yard.
According to reports, though he was never charged or convicted of any criminal activity, Myers was known to the police. Acting Commissioner of Police Reynold Hathaway, however, stressed that one life lost is still too many and the ongoing crime situation must be arrested.
Irrespective of a person's character, that doesn't give someone the right to go and gun him down, regardless of what one may want to say. And we are very, very concerned as an organization where homicide is concerned in St. Vincent. We wish that there should be no more, or could be no more gun-related homicide. As a matter of fact, we really wish that there's no more.
Myers' killing brings the nation's homicide count to 14, with 6 thus far solved. Nolisha Miller, The Evening News.
Vincentians need to develop a culture of safety and preparation in order to reduce damage from adverse weather conditions. That's the advice coming from the director of NEMO, the National Emergency Management Organization, Michelle Forbes, as she spoke on Magic 103.7 Sunday Brunch program discussing the issue of disaster preparedness. Forbes stated that Vincentians must have a proactive approach in relation to their solid waste and building practices, as this would go a long way in reducing their risk of damage and loss.
To build, for example, you need to have an idea where you're going to build and what are the threats in that area. We are seeing persons build on the rocks, on banks, near rivers, and if you build in these areas, it comes with a risk. So you have to mitigate against those risks, otherwise your property can be affected. You put in on an addition to your house, you need to look at also all of that, the materials that you're using, whether you're buying enough steel, whether you're putting enough cement mix, because the $100 that you're going to chinks on now is going to cost you $10,000 in the long run. So we need to have this whole culture of safety built within our system, within our country, and we have to start at all levels, at the schools, at the community level, into the institutions, and at the national level. So it is a constant state of changing the mind, changing the culture.
Civil engineer at Bragsa, Calvin Llewellyn, stated that communication during and after a weather event is of critical importance, both for emergency officials and the public. He encouraged all to find alternative means of communicating in the event of loss of service from traditional communication service providers.
Just to add to that, usually, like, if it's a disaster, we would encourage our people to go to NEMO so that NEMO could have it. NEMO usually would call us, but if it's also some other emergency issues, feel free to come straight into Braxa and make a report. And we actually get complaints, dozens of complaints daily, that we actually do try our best to go out and check. So we actually have that, but as much as we are here applauding the communications, we still also need to remember too that we also need to start looking towards an alternate form of communication in the event that we have a more major disaster. So it's something that I would actually encourage people to try and see if we could actually come up with an alternate source of communication, especially between the police and the emergency services, because if the telephone systems actually do go down, we kind of left in the dark with respect to communications, especially if the lines are broken, we don't have access to certain areas of the country, we're left without communication. So something that I would actually encourage people to try and get into.
General Manager at the Central Water and Sewerage Authority, Garth Saunders, called on those who oversee and utilize various shelters to ensure that from a plumbing perspective, the shelter is properly managed and maintained.
Because a lot of the shelters are schools. What we would like to see more, though, we would like to see the users of the facilities of the schools be more managers of the facilities and guardians, because it's a situation where we don't want to have a facility that is being abused from a plumbing standpoint. There are leaks and they're not reported, and because water is available, you don't report the leaks. And then when there's a disaster, an emergency, we come to your facility and we fill your tanks up, and then at that point you discover then you have a leak, and then we lose very valuable water at a very important time. So it's important that those schools that have been designated shelters, that the persons who are in charge of those schools see them as shelters and ensure that they work along with Braxa and of course with NEMO to keep them, keep them in a condition where they can be used in the shortest possible time.
Success is not about how far you have reached, but about how far you have come based on where you've come from. That's the view of Sister Jacinta Wallace, principal of the St. Joseph's Convent Mariquois, as she spoke at the launch of activities in celebration of the school's 50th anniversary at the Computech Conference Room earlier today. The activities will commence with a Thanksgiving service on September 15th and will conclude on the same date in 2018 under the theme Celebrating 50 Years of Love and Service in the Mariquois Valley. Sister Wallace thanked all the past students, teachers, and parents who have supported the institution over the years.
I love St. Joseph's Convent Mariquois. I have taught at the other schools that are considered creme de la creme, our other convents. It's the top notchers that go to the other convents. I take a special pride, and we, all the teachers at the school, special pride in knowing how far we have brought a child. Success is not about how far you've reached, but how far you've come from. And it takes a particular kind of school and a particular kind of teacher to embrace that. And so through this media, I would like to express gratitude to the teachers over the years, because no principal can do it alone. So, and to the parents and past pupils who have always supported the school.
Head of the fundraising committee, Claire Thomas, said they have set a target of $100,000 to donate to the school and called upon past students to give back to the institution, which has been instrumental in their overall development.
If you did not go to MSS, if you did not go to St. Joseph Convent, Mespo, you would not be where you are today.
Amen.
And I would like to join others and say that if I have to do it over again, and I'm sure if you have to do it over again, there is no other school that you would rather have gone to than either MSS or Sister School or the Mariquois Secondary School or St. Joseph's Convent Mariquois. So we would like to hand over a fat check, $100,000 to Sister Jacinta come the 16th of September 2018. I do not want to come back before the public and before you and say we have failed, because Sister School did not produce any failures.
Businessman and past student Arlington Thomas heeded the call and pledged to give back to the institution by donating 2 scholarships to 2 students.
Yes, so for this 50th anniversary, I had conversations with Sister, so I'm going to give 2 scholarships to 2 needy students at the school, a male and a female, come September 2017. So I am asking those past students who have benefited, whether tremendously or by association with Sister School, to give generously. You won't lose. After all, you went to Sister School, as Claire said, to one past teacher. If he had taught her math, she won't have been where she is now. So I'm encouraging all the past students at home and abroad, if you're hearing my voice, to contribute to our fundraising efforts. And it will go a long way in helping the school to determine the dreams and to assist other students who are less fortunate than us.
50 SOCA and Raga SOCA artists last Saturday, June 24th, at the first ever semifinals dubbed Boarding Pass, tried to outdo each other for a spot among the finalists for the 2017 SOCA and Raga SOCA MONARCH titles. But in the end, only 22 artists were selected to come up against reigning SOCA MONARCH Shane Hyper 4000 Husbands and reigning Raga SOCA MONARCH Chawali Johnson at the biggest and much anticipated show for Vincy Mass 2017, the SOCA MONARCH competition scheduled to take place at Victoria Park on Saturday, July 8th. We hear more about Saturday's event and who the finalists are in this report from Nicketha Toney.
Hundreds of Vincentians gathered at the E.T. Joshua Tarmac last Saturday, June 24th, to witness the semi-finals of the Raga SOCA and Power SOCA MONARCH competition. Dubbed Boarding Pass, some 50 artists took the stage with the hope of securing their spot as a finalist in this year's competition. Each artist was given 4 minutes to render their hit song without the aid of any props, and at the end of the night, 22 artists were successful at their attempt. The 11 who secured their spot to compete against reigning Raga SOCA MONARCH Chawali Johnson are Cleopatra Hendrickson, Social Media, Allergy James, Waterlessness, Devontae Peters and Utama Rose or Primetime Code Road, Molly L. Pang Stapleton, Fete After Fete, Kerona Kiki Samuel Mamele, Nikisha Nikki the Diva Pierre, Sweet Wine, Khalid Cabid Walters featuring Delroy Fireman Hooper All Day, Chanel Scorpion Williams, Stay Home Wine, Chanel Mackenzie, Antidote, Lornette Fire Empress Ned, On The Day, and Hans John, Sugar Mommy. In the SOCA or Power SOCA category, 12 artists will be looking to dethrone reigning SOCA MONARCH Shane Hyper 4000 Husbands. They are Keith Grabber Finesse Challenge, Madness, Delroy Fireman Hooper, Wild, everybody wild, everybody wild, everybody wild, Brian Royal Abraham, Up Full, Lornette Fire Empress Ned, Country Meets Town, Hans John, Jab, Chanel Nanton, Temperature, Travis Whiskey Lynch, Mother Con, Kenroy Rusty Batiste, Front Yard, Jamari L. Pang Stapleton, Mad Power, Allergy James, Winery, Leslie Flanker Chapman, Jessica, and Naphtali Duncan, Out of Place. All artists, along with representatives of the Kinetic and Vikings Band, were scheduled to attend a meeting at the Carnival Development Corporation CDC's office earlier this evening. Promised to be a night of high energy and pure entertainment, Vincentians and visitors alike are being urged to come out in their numbers and support all finalists at the 2017 Raga SOCA and SOCA MONARCH finals, slated for Saturday, July 8th at the Victoria Park, beginning at 9 p.m. Nicketha Toney reporting for Carnival Beat.
Fantastic Friday is a show that officially kicks off the 10 days of Vincy Mass from June 30th to July 11th. And President of the SVG Calypso Association, Earl Caba Bennett, said that this year's show is something to look forward to, especially with the quality of songs. Bennett assured Calypso lovers that those who have been selected to perform in the semifinals this Friday night at the Victoria Park are the best of the crop and that they will be required to perform 2 songs each.
And remember that they will have the showdown as Carnival starts officially. That's Fantastic Friday, 30th of June at the Victoria Park beginning at 8 p.m. Of course, we have Calypso, a mixture of Calypsos. We have upbeat Calypsos, we have philosophical Calypsos, entertaining Calypsos, upbeat Calypsos, Calypsos in all form. So patrons will be in for a treat on Fantastic Friday. So I'm appealing to them to come out in your numbers. Lord of Mercy said, come to the tent. We're going to tweak it and say, come to Fantastic Friday and enjoy Calypso at its best.
The Calypso Association president said they are continually seeking ways to improve the show and the overall art form and have realized the importance of continually training judges.
It's an ongoing process, and you have to replenish, you have to refresh. And we understand that. We have reached out to persons, asking persons with a skill set to come to our training. And this next year, or whenever it is, maybe later this year, will be no exception. We want to start our judging symposium or training earlier than before, than ever, so we can have a more intense judging training program. Yeah, because we need to get this thing up and going at a certain level. There have always been complaints. So I don't want to cast aspersions on the judges. Just to say that you need always to replenish and to refresh and keep on training persons with tool persons, equip them. And that is our aim here. And I want to emphasize here, we're not casting any aspersions on any of the judges.
With a little over 2 weeks before the hottest carnival in the Caribbean, Vincy Mass, gets into full swing, the various mass bands here have been working tirelessly to put the finishing touches on their 2017 production. Newcomers Oxygen Mass, a sold-out production, only means greater things are yet to come, as they aim to redefine the party on the road experience on Mardi Gras Day, Carnival Tuesday, July 11th. Nicketha Toney tells us more in this report.
Breath of fresh air to the Vincentian mass culture, the Oxygen Mass Band is more than ready for the road on Carnival Tuesday as they present Lost in Rio. Giving a unique, all-inclusive experience to masqueraders for Vincy Mass 2017, the idea behind the Oxygen Mass Band, according to production manager Carol Vera, came from herself and her sister, who is the band leader Karen Vera, as they saw it fit to contribute to the Vincentian mass culture and at the same time the Vincy Mass product.
Masqueraders from ever since we were babies, and as masqueraders she wanted to give a masquerader an experience that she would want on the road, right? So that's how she came up with the band Oxygen Mass, and she just wanted everyone to just have fun on the road. So it's going to be like a all-inclusive party on the road.
Vera, while outlining that the band's main challenge was, of course, learning the ropes of the mass culture here, noted that they were, however, overwhelmed at the magnitude of support they received.
Everybody now knows what different feathers they are, different grades of feathers and all these things. So that was a challenge for us. It was a learning experience, not so much a challenge. Patrons are sold out, right? And we are very thankful for that. And we're thankful for the support of the Vincentian masqueraders, and we are going to give them a hell of a road experience, and just one that we ourselves would like to have and we're going to extend that to all our masqueraders this year. And I just want to say thank you, and I can't wait for Carnival Tuesday to come so that everyone could come and enjoy and be satisfied.
Praising the work of the traditional mass bands, Vera further thanked all supporters and sponsors for making Oxygen Mass Band their band of choice for Vincy Mass 2017, with 5 beautiful sections, all of which are now sold out.
I honestly think traditional mass, it's carnival. What we are doing with Oxygen Mass, and I guess some of the other bands can say that, is offering a party on the road. There's no competition. People have choices, and it's up to the masqueraders to pick whatever band they want. Metropolitano, right? This section is offered with a wholesome suit, a favela, which is the purple one here, and we have Samba, which is the red one, a fabulous section, which is Nosa, Senora, and we have Lisa Cordes' section, which is Nightfall and Copacabana. Karen, who did, you know, all of the work, you could really say, to get the band on its feet and started, and I think she did a very, very good job. And the team members here at Oxygen Mass, they did a hell of a job, and so far we can safely say that we are ready for Carnival Tuesday.
Despite being the new kid on the block, Oxygen Mass Band is more than ready to take the road this Carnival Tuesday. Reporting for Carnival Beat, I am Nicketha Toney.